Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Preacher Moss, host of the S.O.S, the Shout Out Show. I hope you're having an excellent day, or you're in the process of having an excellent day. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Brothers and sisters, housekeeping business. Number one, if you're tuning into the show for the first time, please, on YouTube, click that link, that subscribe button, that like button, and let us know that you like it. And hopefully we'll be back and we can give you notifications when the new show is coming. That's number one. Number two, a special shout out to all my S.O.S soldiers, my Shout Out Show soldiers. Thank you so much for riding with your brother, supporting this show. Because the best thing about this show, brothers and sisters, is, you know what? Nobody owns us. I just realized that. Nobody owns us. Viacom doesn't own us. Fox doesn't own us. NBC doesn't own us. This is a continuous project whereby we are self-owned, particularly Black Muslim-owned. We own our content. So for all you people checking out the Shout Out Show and been checking us out and holding us down for all this time, brothers and sisters, I want to say thank you, because it's things like this, people like yourself, that allow these type of things to go on and be successful. And hopefully down the line, we'll have a bigger impact. But I just thought about this before I came on the air, and I was reading something from one of my heroes that just passed away, Coach John Thompson at Georgetown University. Big ups to GU. But he talked about, having access and having ownership and having opportunities. So as a part of that, I hope in the future to be spreading some opportunities, bringing some writers on the show, some other creatives on the show, and expanding it. Since we started, this is show 131. Now, that's a miracle by the law, barakah of Allah. That's a miracle. 131 shows, and we're just still going strong. We've gone through everything from Ramadan to COVID kicking up, to COVID going away, to COVID kicking up, to Trump, to protests, and we're still standing here. And I owe that all to you. I don't like to say your fans. I like to say your family. I owe it to my family, people that tune in and make sure I'm doing all right. Here's one of my family. Make sure I'm eating well. What's going on, Sistery? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling all right. I'm making dua for you, that Allah continue to increase your health. That's what I ask. And everybody else on the Shout Out Show family, pray for Sister Reed, that her health has regained her. We need that sister, because she can cook some hellified food, brothers and sisters. If you've ever been sick, have her send you some of her special chicken soup. You don't even have to drink it. Just take the broth and rub it on your neck, and it gets rid of all the psoriasis. That's how good the soup is. Now, this is sort of like a funny throwback type of show, because I've been watching a whole lot of stuff on TV. I've been watching the news. And I have to say, if you don't say it, the fact of the matter is, the news is really, really devoid of humor right now. The news is really, really devoid of humor right now. We are not seeing practical applications for justice, for equality, for rational behavior. And so I was thinking, out of the box. Now, it may have been that I didn't eat as much food as I should have. Let me fix my camera there. There you go. Maybe I hadn't had enough food. Maybe I was tripping a little bit. Because sometimes when you don't eat enough, you start tripping. And you're usually the last one to know. But I was thinking about this. If we're going to deal with absolute lunacy and dumb ideas and silliness, we should be able to come up with some stupid ideas of our own. Stupid ideas that have some merit in, that could be interesting. But some stupid ideas we should come up with. For example, if the criminal justice system is going to be unfair or disadvantageous to African Americans and Latinos and people like that, I feel like it should be disadvantageous to everybody. Forget the justice. I came up with this deal right here, brothers and sisters. Tell me if you like it. I came up with this idea. My idea is we need to go back in the day, what black folk used to do when they were trying to expand their fortune. What am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about going to school. But for the people that didn't go to school, I'm talking about playing the numbers. I'm talking about the philosophy of playing the numbers. What am I talking about? Not just playing the numbers, brothers and sisters. I am talking about the dream book. Remember the dream book? Some of y'all know that you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you Muslims know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the dream book. You just want to admit that your mom and daddy have it. You had a dream book. And in the dream book, brothers and sisters, you would read or look for your dream in the book, and it had a corresponding number, and that's the number you play for the lottery. We need to bring the dream books back. Muslim community, bring the dream books back. African American and Latino, bring the dream book back. You know why? Because white America doesn't know about the dream book. They're stuck on the American dream. We should have, if we can't have the American dream, damn it, have the dream book. You know why? Because you can find things in there. It had everybody's dream and a corresponding number. Wouldn't it be nice, brothers and sisters, if the people who killed Breonna Taylor, when they finally get indicted and on trial, that we skip through all the trial stuff and we go by trial or dream book. And same thing for George Floyd's killers and all of that. Skip the trial, brothers and sisters. Go to the dream book. I want to look at the people who killed Breonna Taylor and go, well, we already know you're guilty. To save taxpayer money, this is what you wanted to do. I said, sir, what's your favorite dream? And he goes, I was walking down the street on a hot summer day, and the sun was green, and I dropped my ice cream on the ground. And he looked in the dream book. I said, what number is there? He goes, it says 892. I said, yes. That's how many years you're going to do in prison. 892. Effective use of the dream book. I'm a genius. Reed, did you hear that? The dream book justice. All you Muslim organizations that have these fundraisers nobody wants to come to, they want to give me money. Here's the deal. You tell the people, you don't have to give. You don't have to give. No. When they come in, instead of giving them a pledge sheet, a little pledge sheet like you do, no, you have a dream book, an Islamic dream book. And in the Islamic dream book, you have it in English and you have it in Arabic. And you know how Muslims like to tell you about your dream. Brother, I was walking through the Sahara, and I'm like, that's my man I want. I said, hey, everybody forget about fundraising. Who'll give me? Everybody get into your Arabic converted dream book. And you look at the brother that has the most money, who never likes to give. He said, brother, tell us about your dream. He goes, I was going down the highway and Donald Trump was hitchhiking and I gave him a ride and we went to Burger King and he bought me an Impossible Burger. And you look in the dream and say, what number is by that dream? He goes, racist with hamburger at drive-thru, and that number will be 150,000. It'd be 1,500. No. I said, yeah, no. We say 250,026. And he goes, that's my dream. And I go, no, it's not your dream. That's your donation. Literally, I'm liking this dream book. Read. You liking the dream book analogy? Read. You liking it? I'm loving this dream book analogy here. I think we should be able to do that for our water bill. Instead of the water people just sending us a bill, you have a water dream book. And I tell them, and they send the bill. I go, no, I'm going out of the dream book. And I go through the dream book and I say, well, I have a dream that says a black man that takes showers sitting down. And I look at the dream book and it says 15. And that's the amount of money I pay for my water bill. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Now, some of y'all are going to preach. You should really go get a meal because you were losing it. I'm not losing it, brothers and sisters. I'm saying this to say a point. Because the level of ridiculousness right here is unabated because we have not delved into going after the level of ridiculousness and then superseding it. I'm thinking about Donald Trump these days. And I'm saying, no one's ever come to him with ideas that are dumber than he is. Hmm? No one has come to him with ideas that are dumber than his. Yes, that's what you got to do. You got to come up with sometimes ideas that are dumber than the other person. And sadly, they might adapt it. Why do I say this? Because those people, unabated, keep giving us bad ideas, keep giving us bad politics. Da, da, da. I mean, come on, folks. Look at some of the funny moments of your leadership. Funny moments of your leadership. Some of our leaders or people who claim to lead, they just look funny. Have you seen Attorney Barr, William Barr, right now? He should be Attorney General Hershey Barr, because I think that's all he does. He writes jury decisions or legal briefs that are inappropriate, and he eats a lot of Hershey bars. That's what comes. Or he should hit. It should be William Barbell. He needs to lift some weights because he just lifting the fork. Fork is only an ounce. Weights burn fat. Okay, now that's not nice. That's not nice. But I'm saying, brothers and sisters, we have to have a different type of orientation. I like the dream book thing. I'm going to make a joke out of that. That's right. And for all you criminals that decide that you want to be criminals, despite the fact that your mama told you no, your grandmama told you no, and you went through the criminal justice system knowing that your activity is going to get you there and you deserve to be there, we don't need to hold a trial for you. You need to go directly to the prison where you're going to be locked up. The judge stands there and he has you go through the dream book. Tell me your dream. He goes, well, Your Honor, I had a dream that I was going to be free and I'm going to have a lot of money. And the judge goes, 150. That's how many years you get in prison. 150 years. Okay. Let me depart from the dream book, brothers and sisters, because that's a long time ago. That's when people, and let me say this appropriately, that's when people like my grandmother and my grandfather looked and hoped to hit the lottery because that money somehow is going to lift them out of their condition. And sadly, my grandmother and my grandfather, they played the lottery for a long time, thinking I'm going to get $1 million, thinking I'm going to get $2 million, the lottery and things like that. And they never got it. It was a sucker bet. Not that my grandparents were suckers, but they thought, they thought like everybody else thought, that the money would make them move, the money would increase them, and it didn't happen. We have a situation where people have a lot of money. They have a lot of money. But I have a saying for people that have a lot of money, but they're not rational. They're not smart. The saying is, you may have a lot of dollars. You may have a lot of dollars, but you don't have a lot of sense. You may have a lot of dollars, but you don't have a lot of sense. And what that goes to, people, is that the idea of community has been somehow shape-shifted and moved away from what it was. I talked about my grandparents and my uncles and my aunts playing the lottery and going out of a dream book. But here's something you should know. As a kid, I would have to collect everybody's lottery money and take it down to the corner store and get their numbers. That was a rite of passage. And it's not that it was just a rite of passage. It's just that they trusted me. They trusted me as a child to go down and get their numbers and come back. And then, I got a little off the top, for a soda or a couple pieces of candy, but that wasn't the point. It was that we loved each other and we understood each other. And it carried over so many different ways. I'm talking about money, but in so many other different ways where there was no money, it carried over and it was even more significant. I'm looking at a whole lot of people these days. I'm looking at a Secretary of Education. None of her kids are in school. None of her kids went to public school. She has no idea what children are doing through, but how did she get the job? How did she get the job? I'm talking about Betsy DeVoid. That's what I call her now. Betsy DeVoid. Betsy devoid of experience. Betsy devoid of compassion. Betsy devoid of mercy. Betsy devoid of intelligence. Betsy devoid of fairness and equality. And goodwill, as a matter of fact. But I don't want to digress. I want to keep a happy face on this thing. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm worried. Let me say this. I'm worried that Donald Trump, before this election is over, is going to tip the scales at 400 pounds. That's a big man. I don't know if they're doing it in the White House. I don't know if they're doing it with holograms or whatever. But dude got fat. When I got fat, I mean unhealthy. Like, when you know how people, and I don't mean like da-da-da, but it's mean. You know what I mean? It's mean. It's that type of person, they talk about everybody, but that's who you are, right? If you're a person I'm always talking about, so-and-so don't have any money, so-and-so don't have any money, but that was a person that didn't have any money. That's what I'm talking about. It was always a person who didn't look so great that talked about everybody else who didn't look so great. Hey, Miss Eleanor, how you doing? Did you catch the piece about the Dream Book justice? Instead of sending people to prison, what you do is just take them straight to prison and have them tell you what dream it was. Look at the Dream Book. That's how many years they get in prison. I'm gonna get you to vote on that one. That's a classic. But let me get back to the story here. The story right now, the other story is COVID. And I have to say something about COVID. COVID has made me extremely health conscious. Remember when people cough around you or sneeze and you say, God bless you? Now you say God something else. And it's interesting because we treat COVID like it's the end of the world. And it does have a lot of negative ramifications. But my father says, ain't nobody getting out here alive. And he also says, check it out, son. When you die, you're the last one that's going to find out. You'll be the last one to know. So what does that mean? Instead of talking about toilet paper, and I still have not made the correlation of the run on toilet paper when COVID first hit. People were literally, I had to get toilet paper from Office Depot. That's how bad it is. I ain't never gone in Office Depot and go, what aisle they have Cottonelle on? Fortunately, now you can go to the grocery store. They done ripped off everybody, so now you can find everything you want in the appropriate aisle. But it was a rush. It was a panic. You know what? The thing that we didn't do, though, the thing that we didn't do was run to the doctors. Did you notice how nobody went to the doctor, but they went to go get a test? Has anyone gone to the doctor lately? Like, literally, we go to the hospital. Now, black folk, our history is we don't go to the doctor. We go to the emergency room. It's either emergency room or the funeral home. They're usually within a 5-mile radius of one another. Uh-oh, somebody's mad. I get somebody mad. Sai, what happened, brother? I'm sorry I got you, man. Don't get angry. This is the first person I got angry on the show. All right. But I'm thinking about this. COVID has changed our whole culture, man. Like basketball, football. And I was standing up. I was really interested, man. COVID and justice and COVID. It was really about, in parallel, how we live in our lives. Like, literally, how are we living our lives? How do we have community? How do we frame community these days? And I found that, you know what? I've taken the time to go out and find out about my neighbor and see how my neighbor's doing. Because it's, in a weird way, it's brought us back to what? What is it brought us back to? Community. Community. Think about this. When's the last time you went and asked your neighbor for a cup of flour? A cup of sugar? You think about that. We really don't these days. We're so tied up in our situations, scenarios, that almost that idea of community, it used to be a thing, you do that all the time. Now we don't do it all the time. Now it becomes an issue whereby, it's almost sad that we can't say that we need help. It's sad that we can't reach out to folks. I was just checking this out, man. I'm older, but remember when you needed to borrow money from somebody, you just go borrow it from somebody? There was no GoFundMe, there's no Launch Good, there's no Kickstarter. The further and further away we get from communication, the weirder it gets. So, as we begin the tailspin here, I like a couple things that I said. I talked about this whole idea, this funny idea of a dream book, but really what it was about accountability. It was about what happens when we're not accountable and how we quickly move to these absurd ideas of what works. And it happens because we're not talking about what doesn't work. We're not scrutinizing what doesn't work. You know, I literally sit here, and I don't want to say I sit here, but I think about these things. You know, the Muslim community is interesting because we're a very strong community, but we really haven't, at this point in time, really developed that voice to go out and tell people what we want. We're still like with hat in the hand, trying to hope somebody's going to like us or want us. And I would say, listen, Black people, Native Americans, Latinos figured out a long, long, long time ago that America doesn't work like that. When's the last time you just walked up to somebody who you didn't know, you had no relationship with, and if they were doing wrong, you told them, hey, knock it off. Not excuse me, da-da-da, knock it off. And I'm not talking about being aggressive. I'm just talking about having a sense of urgency. And let's talk about that, folks. In this election, we don't have one thing that's very, very important to us. That's that galvanizing sense of urgency. Remember souls to the polls? That was a good one. That was when Black people go vote. Well, I won't say Black people, but church folks will get out and leave church and go to the polls. You don't have soul to the polls anymore. You know, you have every kind of conspiracy. You know what I think, man? I think you should use the Dream Book for voting. That's right. You pick your dream out, and however many, whatever number that is, that's how many times you get to vote. I'm not going to leave this dream book alone with this. This is a funny joint. I'm going to be on TV one day telling this joke, and you go, oh, he's a genius. I'm not a genius. I just been around long enough to see when people had dreams about how they got up out of situations, and though it may seem absurd or long shot, they believed in it. See, of all the things you heard me say, I didn't say I didn't believe my grandparents' dreams. Because the dream that they had was not just to win a bunch of money, it was to move their family out of a certain situation. You know, social economic situation or a living situation or educational situation. You see, all this stuff, it has merit, if you will. It has merit and it has history. So as we continue to move on, tomorrow's show is going to be Throwback Thursday. I was going to hold back the Dream Book. I might talk about it a little bit tomorrow, but just a little bit. But imagine the simplicity of us figuring out creative narratives for us to be better people. Creative narratives for us to be better neighbors. Creative narratives for us to be better community. You know, and some of it, I say it's creative. I taught a writing class, Funny Right Now, comedy writing. And it was interesting with my students how creative they were, how talented they were when they took the time to realign some of the things that they did, some of the things that they liked, and some of the things that they didn't like. And they looked at the things that they didn't like and still figured out somehow, some way what they liked about some of the things they didn't like and turned those not even strengths, but peculiarities into writing talent. And I'm talking about young, old, Black, white, Muslim, non-Muslim. It's there, people. It's there. And I laugh when I'm talking about some of the things I'm talking about because they were happy times. I'm not saying that the politics was correct. I'm not saying that I whizzed through the Reagan eras or the Bush eras or nothing like that. I'm not saying I whizzed through it. I'm saying that we understood politics, but we understood we had control of ourselves and our communities during those times of political disagreement, if you will. And at these point in time, it seems like we don't have it. We need it, but we don't necessarily have it. So my brothers and sisters, like I said, I don't want you to feel any kind of way about what I said. You know how they say all thoughts and views are not, all thoughts and views that you heard from me are, guess what? They from me. I mean, make no doubt, they're from me. I'm telling you, they're from me. But my point is, we all have a certain amount of creativity. We all have a certain innate ability to speak our minds. And I'm saying whether it's right or wrong, I'm like, but speak your minds. You know, take an idea and play with an idea that's totally ridiculous every once in a while. That's my prescription for you. Play with an idea that's totally ridiculous every once in a while. Realize why it's ridiculous, but appreciate that even in the most ridiculous things, there's a little bit of truth. And you owe it to yourself to look at that little bit of truth, whether you like it or not, or whether you do like it. I'm saying, look at the little bit of truth that are in things. Now, Donald Trump, you heard me say that you're getting large and in charge. That's from your brother. You're getting large and in charge. But I'm not talking about weight, Donald Trump. I'm talking about gluttony. I'm talking about consumption. I'm talking about stealing from our children, stealing from our inheritance, stealing from our future. See, that's the things that you're eating up, if you will. And it's not healthy because it's not come from you. It doesn't come from you. It doesn't come from your work, your effort, your ideas, your own creativity, brothers and sisters. It does not. See, it's a different kind of weight that you put on. Because I want to clear this up. No, one is physical weight. We get older, metabolism slows down. That's fine, that's life. But there's an unhealthy weight. That's an unhealthy diet of lying, misleading people, oppressing people, cheating people. See, that diet affects all of us. See, that's different. Your diet, brother, affects all of us. Now, I'm not going to give you a hard time. I'm going to let you go. But we will be back, brothers and sisters. We will continue this conversation about breaking down ridiculous things in society in a different way, though. Not to call them ridiculous, but understand where that truth started from. Yesterday's episode might have got me in a little trouble. Why are white folks losing it? Because a lot of people just tuned in. Oh, you're being racist about white folks. I'm not talking about white folks. I'm talking about the mentality. Why is the mentality of quote unquote white folk, why are they losing it? And I thought I made a pretty compelling argument. And I made a compelling argument about America too. You heard me say the word about dream book, dream book, dream book, dream book, dream book. Let me tell you why. When I told you about my grandparents having a dream book with the numbers in it, there was another book that had the dream. It had dreams in it. It had numbers in it. It was the Bible. And then it was the Quran. And they spoke to all my dreams. How I got money, how I raised my family, all these things. And it made so much sense, brothers and sisters. So I'm saying, think a little bit. You're smart, you're intelligent, invest in that. And engage your creativity a little bit. You know, it's not a crime to have your own dream book or your book of dreams. I'm Preacher Moss. This is the S.O.S. Shadow Show. You've been great. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next Shout Out Show. Simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.